please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to bring this Wednesday, December 19, 2018 Board of Commissioners meeting at 6 p.m. at the 911 Center to order. Special meeting. Okay, at this time, opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only. Okay, we're going to go right into the ordinance. Ordinance second reading, 18-0255.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is an ordinance fixing the salaries of row officers. This is the second reading, so action will be required by the Board of Commissioners tonight. This is an ordinance fixing the salaries of the following county officers: the county commissioners, the sheriff, the treasurer, the controller, the recorder of deeds, register of wills, clerk of judicial records, and coroner, elected in Lackawanna County, providing for a percentage increase for each such county offices for the years 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, providing that the effective date shall be in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Whereas Lackawanna County is a third-class county operating under the Home Rule Charter and Optional Plans Law of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, existing pursuant to the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And whereas the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, after consideration of a plan to establish salaries for county officers enacted by Act Number 82 of 1979, which delegates to the commissioners of the various counties the power to fix the salaries of certain county officers governed thereby. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County has determined that various factors, including but not limited to the growing complexity of county government, the demands upon county officers, the need to attract and retain qualified persons to serve as county officers, and the effects of inflation upon the established salaries of county officers and desires to respond to those concerns. Be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County that 1. The ordinance is adopted pursuant to the authorization contained in the Act and the County Code herein above referenced. Section 2. This ordinance shall apply to elected county officials listed below in accordance with Section 401 of the County Code, Section 1302 of the Lackawanna County Home Rule Charter. A, the 3 county commissioners. B, the sheriff. C, the treasurer. D, the controller. E, the recorder of deeds. F, the register of wills. G, the clerk of judicial records. And H, the coroner. This ordinance shall not apply to the district attorney pursuant to the Act of July 14, 2005, providing for compensation of district attorneys upon notification that said office will be a full-time position. Section 3. The County Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby adopt and set the following official positions listed in Section 2, the annual base salary for each county officer set forth below. The 3 county commissioners at $76,017. The office of sheriff, controller, treasurer, recorder of deeds, register of wills, clerk of judicial records, and the coroner at a set salary of $66,174. The term base salary shall not include any additional compensation provided by law for multiple office holders as set forth in Act of 1971, number 1. Any additional compensation paid to any county officer by any other provision of law. Section 4. Effective January 1st, 2020, all of the elected county officers enumerated in Section 2 above shall receive a salary increase of 4%. This shall be calculated by multiplying by 0.04% the said salary of the respective county officer in 2019 as provided in Section 3 above, and adding the resulting figure to said salary. The sum of these two figures shall constitute that county officer's salary for 2020. Effective January 1st, 2021, all of the elected county officers enumerated in Section 2 shall receive a salary increase of 4%. This shall be calculated by multiplying by 4% the annual salary of the respective county officer in 2020, provided in Section 4 above, and adding the resulting figure to said salary. The sum of the two figures shall constitute that county officer's salary for the year 2021. Section 6. Effective January 1st, 2022, all of the elected county officers enumerated in Section 2 shall receive a salary increase of 4%. The said shall be calculated by multiplying by 4% the salary of the said paid to the respective county officer in 2021 as provided by Section 5 above, and adding the resulting figure to the said salary. The sum of two figures shall constitute the county salary for 2022. Section 7. Effective January 1st, 2023, all of the elected county officers enumerated in Section 2 shall receive a salary increase of 4%. This shall be calculated by multiplying by 4% the said paid the salary paid to the respective county officer in 2022 as provided in Section 6 above, and adding the resulting figure to said salary. The sum of these two figures shall constitute the county officer salary for 2023. Section 8, the salary provided in Section 7 above shall remain in force until amended according to law. Section 9, notwithstanding the above, this ordinance shall be effective and apply only to county officers who are elected or appointed by lawful process after the date of enactment of this ordinance. Section 10, all ordinances and parts of ordinances inconsistent herewith are hereby rescinded. Section 11, if any section, clause, provision, or portion of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such decision shall not affect any other section, clause, provision, or portion of this ordinance, which shall remain in full force and effect. Section 12, this ordinance shall take effect 10 days after enactment. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay.
Basically, Commissioners, this will increase the salary of the row officers and the commissioners by 4% over a period of 4% each over the years 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023.
Okay, does the board have any questions?
There's no changes to this at all? None?
No, it's 4. Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion fixing the salaries of the row officers. Do I have a second? Ordinance number 257.
2557, okay.
Second.
You have a second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Terriani?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
No.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
Public comment?
I'd just like to say something real quick.
I'd like to make a comment too, unless you want to be last.
I'll be last.
Okay.
So wait a minute. With regard to probably in the order in which
Public.
we usually do it. Okay, opportunity for the public to address the board. Anyone? Okay, Commissioners, business. Commissioner Cummings.
Actually, I was probably one of the biggest advocates for the row officers getting a raise. Actually, I think I initiated the conversation, to be honest with you, 3 years ago, where it first came up. But what I didn't know is that we were going to set precedent from a previous ordinance at 4%, and then on top of that, 4 years in a row. So that is the reason that I can't support that. I don't understand, because we're going to have now next year, when the contracts come up, people are going to be looking for 4% increases because you all got 4%. And I know the argument is, well, we didn't get a raise in 20 years. I understand that. That's why I was all for an increase coming in. But you're an elected officer, and most of the offices in the county are below $40,000 a year. So that's why they generally get these 2.5% increases. I mean, you're way above that. And this is an elected office. So, you know, if you're not happy with the actual salary, then you don't run for the office, I would assume. But I do think that it was time for an increase. I just can't agree with the 4%. And 4 years in a row at 4% is just way too much. I think that 2 to 2.5% increase would have been sufficient for everyone involved. And I just think it was way too much. I don't understand who set that precedent, but that isn't what I was advocating for at all. So if that's what anybody thought I was, I wasn't. I was, an average salary of someone is actually 3%. I looked all the figures up, and I can't justify 4%, especially 4 years in a row. I just can't, especially for an elected office. Can't do it. So that's the reason that I'm voting no. If it was even if it was at 3%, I think I would have been okay with it for a 2-year term, like 2 years in a row. But 4% at 4 years in a row, you know, that's going to increase our budgets. Tom did do the numbers on it. Thank you very much for your work on that, Tom, by the way, for every year. And the other issue is, it's still in question as to when each row officer was supposed to get this, because the other thing that I was understood to believe was that you would not receive the raise until you got reelected, because,
That's correct, yes.
so,
That's in there, Commissioner, yeah.
so then that's how we're still going to do it, because
Correct.
this is saying 2020.
Yes, but
That's the way it's set up, right?
Section 9 of there, it says that it doesn't kick in until their next election. So the row officers
For each-
running next
each
year
individual
will
office?
receive their raises starting in 2020, and then the ones running in 2021, their salary will jump in 2022. But they'll all jump in 2022 to be equal, because they have to be uniform under the uniformity clause.
So is that when all of them will be re-elected, is what you're saying? So who starts in 2020? Which office?
The ones that are running, the Register of Wills, Recorder of Deeds, and the sheriff run in 2021. So their raises won't kick in until 2022. Right. But then the other row officers, the coroner and them run next year, so their raises will kick in 2020.
After they get re-elected in 20?
In 19, right, if they're reelected in 19, correct.
Okay.
And
All
the
right, I mean,
commissioner.
like I said, I do agree that you guys deserve an increase. That's, not an issue with me. It's just the amounts in the consecutive years that I'm in disagreement, so that's all I have. Thanks.
Commissioner Terriani?
As far as the argument that the unions will come with that demand is interesting, but they do receive raises. It is less, but it has been 20 years since someone voted on this, and that becomes an issue. You don't know when that would occur again. It could conceivably be another 20 years before that happens, or
I agree.
even longer.
But that's not my argument.
I understand, but being in this position is, politically uncomfortable conceivably, but you have to have the courage to do the right thing, and this is the right thing. They do deserve a raise, and I agree with the 4%. They haven't received a raise in 16 years. They haven't been, one hasn't been voted on in 20 years. I'm very happy with the way it worked out.
It's been a long time, and it really didn't come across our radar screen until I think maybe 3 weeks ago this actually all really came together. Like even during our budget cycle, we didn't hear about this, and it takes a budget to be able to give out increases, and every budget relies on the budget before it. So if you don't have a budget, you can't give out increases. But we're in a situation where we had a good budget, no tax increase, and then we have next year's budget, which hopefully will be in the same area again. I'd like to congratulate the row officers who do a fine job, and it is a long time, and I get what Commissioner Cummings says, but if it had been a 2.5% all through those years all the way up, we wouldn't be doing this right now, but, it's 4% because, it actually, in all actuality, that number is, at least it gives, it's a bump at least for everybody else, Like I said, that wasn't anything that was on my radar screen, it wasn't a concern, but we have hardworking row officers that do a great job, and it's been 16 years actually, because the last one was in 2004. So is it 16 or was it done?
It'll be 18 by the time they actually kick in.
18 years by the time
Yeah.
it says. So I'd like to congratulate
years since it was voted.
congratulations to all of our row officers, great job, so.
And the jobs certainly have gotten much more complicated.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yeah,
Commissioner Najarian.
yes.
Commissioner Cummings.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Yep.